Riot police used force to disperse protesting students after they had stormed the parliamentary precinct. UCT and Cape Peninsula of Technology students who participated in the Fees Must Fall campaign are now calling on the court to protect them. They want the court to declare the police's actions unlawful. The applicants also want to bar police from using stun grenades, batons and tear gas against protesting students. It's not yet clear when those arrested will appear in court. All right, let's get an update on the student protests now. We speak to our journalist, Abria Barbria, reporting live from Parliament. Abria, talk to us a little bit about what happened overnight.
Good morning. Yes, what happened overnight was that apparently there were masses of parents, lawyers, all kinds of support from all sectors of society at the courts with the students who had been arrested. If you had been following social media, a call had gone out to anybody with any kind of legal background to come to court to assist these students. Some of them did not have legal representation, but by the end of the evening, a plan was made. 23 of those students have thus far been released. We understand that another 6 of them are still behind bars. Some of the students, of course, come from high-profile families, one of them being the grandson of Phyllis Naidu, a well-known ANC activist. Also, we have the son of Reverend Frank Chikane. We have the son of a very well-known lawyer in South Africa, Advocate Trengrove. So there are big names out there who are fighting along. Also, who have now supported the students? Academics. Hundreds of academics have apparently sent a letter to the Minister of Higher Education voicing their support for the students, saying that they understand their plight. But basically what I've been seeing overnight is just support from all sectors. Yes, there have been some complaints about unruly behavior by students. We did have some of that, but overall the protest did seem to be quite peaceful, and the police have come under heavy criticism. At least one constitutional law expert, Pierre de Vos, released a statement saying that under the Gatherings Act, if I have it correctly, the way the police responded was actually not appropriate. He mapped out exactly what the steps are that the SAPS is supposed to take under these kinds of circumstances. But of course, Parliament is not known as the People's Parliament for nothing. And that's another argument that's come to the fore, is that this place over here, its doors should be open to whomever wants to come in and partake. That's why it's known as the People's Parliament. So that argument is raging as well, that these students came in as citizens, and because the protest was largely peaceful, the police's actions are now being heavily scrutinized.
We do also understand officials are saying that the march was illegal and that the students had not obtained the required permission for them to gather in that fashion around the parliamentary precinct. What do we know about that? And more importantly, what do we know about the charges that those who had gathered there are facing? We're hearing rumors of treason charges. We're hearing some saying that that's not correct. What do we know about the charges, and what do we know about the nature of the gathering?
Okay, I'm not sure if I heard the question correctly, but what I can tell you is the Hawks have disputed. They've tried to clarify that these allegations of treason charges. They said no, treason is not what's being investigated. Trespassing, however, that is one of the charges on the table. In terms of applications that the students made for this march, as far as I'm concerned, according to my knowledge, there was no application, because this did seem to be something that just came off the back of the minister's speech. They took the opportunity, they grabbed the opportunity when they saw it to come to Parliament, knowing that the Minister of Higher Education would be here. So it did come across, even though the Fees Must Fall campaign has been going on for more than a week, what happened yesterday did seem to be an impromptu march to Parliament.
Abra, lastly, we have heard from Ms. Thando Modise saying that they had made sure that minimum force was used against students. We're seeing some of the visuals as you speak now of yesterday, one individual being hurt, their blood running from his nose. What do we know about the level of force that was used, number one? Number two, how many were injured?
Do you know what? In 2014, at the start of the 5th Parliament, when everything erupted between the EFF and Parliament, we used terms like unprecedented force, images that have never been seen before at Parliament. But what I personally saw yesterday, that can truly be termed as unprecedented. I don't know if the word revolution is the right word to use at this point, but it did feel like the start of something big. And the force that I saw used yesterday, it was scary. It did seem a little bit unnecessary compared to the kind of action coming from the students. As I mentioned earlier on, there were a few students who did try to take chances. I mean, us as journalists, we had to duck bricks, we had to duck various missiles. We were there in the middle of it, so we saw action from both sides. But just my own analysis, the force did seem to be a little bit unnecessary.
And just the last part of that question, Abra, injuries. Do we know how many students were hurt?
How many students were hurt? I saw at least two students on the ground. One gentleman, his feet were bent because a canister had actually landed right on his foot. His tacky was blown apart, it was completely shredded, his skin was torn off, so he looked quite badly injured. Another student I saw, we were trying to talk to her, we were trying to help her. I don't know if it was out of the shock or if she'd actually physically been hurt, but she just kept fainting and she was in a complete state. She was traumatized. So that's two that I definitely know of.
Thank you so much for that update, Abra. I do also know that officials are trying to verify numbers at the stage, that information slowly trickling in. So we do appreciate that update from you. We'll continue to chat to Abra Barbara throughout the course of the morning. Do stay with us for her regular updates. Abra, my thanks to you.